You didn't find this message by accident. Heaven just increased your protection for a reason. Pause for a moment and let that sink deep into your spirit, because something has shifted around you, something you may not fully see yet, but you can feel it. The atmosphere has changed. The weight of certain situations has lifted, while others suddenly feel more intense, more focused, more intentional. That is not coincidence. That is not your imagination. That is divine intervention. You are being covered in a way you weren't before. There are battles that were assigned to break you, but somehow they never reached you. There were traps set in your path, but you walked right past them without even realizing how close you came. There were voices speaking against you in places you couldn't hear, yet their words carried no power over your life. Why? Because heaven stepped in. Because your name was spoken in realms you cannot see. Because something about your destiny became too important to leave unguarded. Listen carefully. Not everyone is operating under this level of protection. Not everyone has been marked for what you are about to step into. There is a reason. The pressure around you increased. There is a reason. The spiritual attacks felt stronger. There is a reason people started acting strange. Distances grew, and certain connections suddenly broke without explanation. It wasn't loss. It was security. Heaven was removing access. There are doors that had to be closed. Because where you are going, not everyone can follow. There are energies that had to be cut off, because they would interfere with what is about to unfold in your life. You thought things were falling apart, but in reality, everything was being realigned to protect you, and now that protection has increased. This is not ordinary protection. This is strategic, intentional, divine security. The kind that blocks what you cannot see. The kind that redirects what was meant to harm you. The kind that keeps you standing when everything around you should have made you fall. You may not feel stronger, but you are covered. You may not have all the answers, but you are guided. You may not understand why certain things had to happen, but you are being positioned, because something major is coming, not small, not temporary, not something that fades in a moment. What is approaching your life carries weight, it carries impact, it carries a shift that will change how you see yourself, how others see you, and how your path unfolds from this point forward. And that is exactly why the protection had to increase first. Think about it. Before something valuable is revealed, it is always guarded. Before something powerful is released, it is always secured. Before something life-changing happens, there is always preparation behind the scenes. You are in that preparation now. That uneasy feeling you've had, that sense that something is about to happen, that inner voice telling you to stay alert, to stay grounded, to stay connected. That is not fear, that is awareness, that is heaven whispering to your spirit. Stay ready, because the moment that is approaching your life will require clarity. It will require strength. It will require you to recognize it when it appears, and not let it pass you by. And that is why you've been protected. That is why certain things didn't work out. That is why certain people walked away. That is why certain opportunities closed. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection under divine security. You are not being delayed. You are being preserved. You are not being blocked. You are being shielded. And now, as everything aligns, as everything begins to move into place, as the unseen work reaches its final stage, you need to understand this one truth. You are not just surviving anymore. You are being prepared to step into something that requires a higher level of protection, because it carries a higher level of purpose, and what is coming next is not random, it is not ordinary, it is not something that can be stopped by anything that tried to stop you before, because now you are covered differently. Now you are guarded differently. Now you are walking under a level of divine security that was activated specifically for this moment. And deep down, your spirit already knows. What is coming next is exactly why heaven had to protect you first. Heaven does not increase protection unless something powerful is about to happen. There is a reason the shield around your life has grown stronger, and it's not random, it's not accidental, and it's definitely not small. What you're experiencing right now is the result of unseen battles. Battles you didn't even know were being fought on your behalf, while you were going about your day, trying to hold yourself together, trying to make sense of the confusion, the delays, the emotional weight. There were forces moving in the unseen realm. There were things being blocked before they could reach you. There were assignments sent against you that never made it through, and you didn't even see it. You only felt the aftermath, the exhaustion without explanation, the sudden heaviness, the moments where you questioned everything. But what you didn't see was how many times you were covered, how many times something was stopped right before it could touch your life. This is what increased protection looks like. It's silent, it's invisible, but it is powerful. Because the truth is, when your purpose reaches a certain level, resistance increases. Not just from situations, not just from circumstances, but from people and energies that are not aligned with where you're going. Have you noticed it? People who once supported you suddenly feel distant. Conversations that once felt natural now feel forced. Environments that once felt comfortable now feel heavy, almost like you don't belong there anymore. That's not in your head. That's spiritual separation. Because when heaven increases your security, it doesn't just block negative events. It removes negative access. Some people can't go where you're going. Some energies can't exist in the space you're stepping into. And instead of allowing them to interfere, heaven begins to quietly disconnect them from you. It may feel like loss, but it's actually protection. It may feel like confusion, but it's actually clarity being formed. There are individuals who would have slowed you down without even realizing it. There are people who carried doubt, fear, jealousy, or hidden intentions that didn't match your calling. And instead of letting that energy stay connected to you, heaven cut it off. Not to hurt you, but to secure you. Because what's coming into your life cannot be handled in a distracted, drained, or divided state. You need clarity, you need strength, you need alignment. And most importantly, you need protection. That's why certain doors closed without warning. That's why certain plans didn't work out, no matter how hard you tried. That's why things felt like they were being delayed. Even when you were ready to move forward, it wasn't punishment. It was prevention. You were being protected from stepping into something too early, or stepping into something that wasn't meant for you at all. And at the same time, you were being protected from things trying to step into your life that didn't belong there. Because not every opportunity is a blessing. Not every connection is safe. Not every open door leads to your purpose. And heaven knows the difference even when you don't. That's why the protection increased. Because the closer you get to something significant, the more precise the protection has to be. This is where it becomes urgent. Because right now, you are in a sensitive moment. A moment where decisions matter more. A moment where discernment becomes critical. A moment where you can't afford to ignore what your spirit is telling you. You may feel it, that inner pull to step back from certain people. That quiet voice telling you to slow down, to observe, to not rush into things. That sense of something isn't right, even when everything looks fine on the surface. Don't ignore that. That is part of your protection. That is heaven guiding you in real time. Because the attacks don't always come in obvious ways. Sometimes they come disguised as opportunities. Sometimes they come through people you trust. Sometimes they come wrapped in something that looks good, but carries the wrong energy. And that's exactly why your security had to increase. You are not just being protected from what you see. You are being protected from what you cannot see, from what hasn't happened yet, from what was planned, but will never reach you. And the deeper truth is this: if this level of protection has been activated around your life, then what is coming must be something that cannot be interrupted, cannot be contaminated, and cannot be taken from you. That's how important it is. That's how serious this moment is. And that's why everything around you feels different. Because it is different. You are not in the same place you were before. You are not surrounded by the same energy anymore. You are not operating under the same level of exposure. You are covered in a way that reflects what is about to arrive. And once you fully understand that, once you truly realize why all of this had to happen, you will stop questioning the process and start trusting the protection, because the real reason behind this protection is bigger than you think. There are things that were meant to break you, but never reached you. Let that truth settle into your spirit. Because if you could see everything that was planned against you, everything that was set in motion behind your back, everything that tried to align itself against your peace, your purpose, your future, you would realize just how protected you have truly been. There were moments when the outcome should have been different. Moments where things could have gone completely wrong. Moments where one wrong step, one wrong decision, one wrong connection could have shifted your entire life in a direction you were never meant to go. But somehow, you were spared. That delay you complained about, it saved you. That rejection that hurt you, it redirected you. That distance that confused you, it protected you. Because hidden beneath what you could see, there were dangers you were never supposed to face directly. There were people smiling in your face, but carrying intentions that didn't align with your well-being. Conversations that seemed harmless, but were rooted in manipulation, situations that looked like opportunities, but were actually traps designed to drain you, distract you, or destroy your focus. And still, you made it through untouched. Not because nothing was there, but because everything was blocked. There were spiritual attacks sent to weaken you emotionally, mentally, even physically. There were moments where heaviness came out of nowhere, where your energy dropped without explanation, where your mind felt clouded, and your spirit felt shaken. Those weren't random feelings. Those were battles you didn't even realize you were in. And yet, even in those moments, something held you together. Something kept you from completely falling apart. Something kept you moving, even when you felt like stopping. That was your protection working in real time. You didn't have to see it to be covered by it. You didn't have to understand it to be carried through it. Because when heaven places a shield over your life, it doesn't wait for you to ask questions. It acts. There were betrayals that could have cut deeper, but they were exposed early. There were people who could have gotten closer to you, but something about you made them uncomfortable, made them pull back, made them distance themselves before they could do damage. You thought it was strange. You thought it was personal, but it was protection. There were environments you almost stepped into, situations that seemed normal on the surface, but carried an energy that would have drained you completely. And at the last moment, something shifted. Plans changed. Doors closed. You were redirected. That wasn't bad luck. That was intervention. Because some attacks don't come with warning signs. Some dangers don't announce themselves. Some betrayals don't reveal their true nature until it's too late. But for you, it never got that far, because your life is being guarded at a level that doesn't allow certain things to touch you, even when you were unaware, even when you were distracted, even when you doubted yourself. That protection never left. It stayed active. It stayed alert. It stayed one step ahead of everything trying to reach you. And that's why you're still here. That's why you're still standing. That's why, despite everything that could have happened, you are still moving forward. There were nights you felt overwhelmed, but you didn't break. There were days you felt lost, but you didn't disappear. There were moments where everything inside you felt shaken, but something deeper within you remained unshaken. That something was not your strength alone. It was your covering. It was the unseen force that refused to let you fall completely. And now, as you look back, you may start to realize that not everything that left your life was a loss. Some of it was removal. Not everything that didn't work out was failure. Some of it was prevention. Not everything that felt like silence was absence. Some of it was protection, happening quietly without needing your awareness. Because if you had seen everything, it might have overwhelmed you. If you had known every detail, it might have distracted you. So instead, you were simply guided, step by step, moment by moment, away from what could have harmed you and toward what is meant for you. And now you stand in a place where you can begin to understand. You were never as exposed as you thought. You were never as alone as you felt. You were never as vulnerable as it seemed. Because even in your weakest moments, you were covered. Even in your confusion, you were guided. Even in your silence, something was fighting for you. And that means something deeper is happening. Something bigger than just protection. Because protection like this is not random. It is intentional. It is purposeful. It is preparing you. Because when this level of defense is placed over your life, it's not just about keeping you safe. It's about making sure nothing interferes with what's about to happen next. And you need to be ready for that. Because everything you were saved from, everything that was blocked, everything that never reached you, was only part of the process. But protection is only the beginning. Something greater is about to unfold. You were not protected just to survive. You were protected to rise. Everything you've been through was never meant to end in survival. It was never meant to leave you barely holding on, just getting by, just existing. No, there is a shift happening now, and it's pulling you out of survival mode and into something higher, into elevation, into breakthrough, into purpose. Because the same force that shielded you in your lowest moments is now positioning you for your highest ones. Look back for a second. All the pressure you carried, it strengthened you. All the confusion you faced, it sharpened your discernment. All the times you felt delayed, it taught you patience and timing. Nothing was wasted, not a single tear, not a single moment of doubt, not a single night where you questioned if you were going to make it through. It was all building something inside of you, something that couldn't be formed any other way. And now that inner transformation is about to meet an outer manifestation. This is where everything begins to shift. Because breakthrough doesn't come randomly. It comes when you've been prepared for it. And you've been prepared in ways you didn't even realize. You've been stretched so you can carry more. You've been isolated so you can hear clearly. You've been tested so you can stand firmly when it matters most. And now, you are stepping into a moment where things will begin to move. Doors that once felt locked will open. Opportunities that once felt distant will come closer. Clarity will replace confusion. Direct will replace doubt, and you will feel it, not just around you, but within you. A new level of confidence, a new level of peace, a new level of understanding about who you are and why you've gone through everything you've gone through. Because this next phase is not about struggle, it's about alignment. Everything that belongs in your life will begin to align with you. The right people, the right situations, the right timing. No more forcing, no more chasing, no more trying to make things work that were never meant to. Because what is coming to you now will recognize you. It will meet you where you are and elevate you to where you're meant to be. This is the breakthrough. Not just a moment, but a shift in your entire direction. A shift in how things flow into your life. A shift in how you see yourself. A shift in how others respond to your presence. Because when you rise, it doesn't go unnoticed. And understand this clearly. This elevation is not just for you. There is purpose attached to it. There is impact attached to it. There are people who will be affected by your growth, by your strength, by your story. People who will see in you what they thought was impossible for themselves. People who will find hope, because you didn't give up. That's why you had to go through what you went through. Not just to reach this moment, but to carry it with meaning. And now, as everything begins to come together, you may start to feel a sense of anticipation. A quiet excitement, a feeling that something is about to change, something real, something tangible. Hold on to that feeling, because it's not false, it's not imagined, it's confirmation. You are stepping into something you once prayed for, even if it doesn't look exactly how you expected. And that's the key. Because what's coming is not limited by your past understanding. It's bigger, it's better. It's beyond what you thought was possible when you were in your lowest moments. That's why it had to take time. That's why it had to be protected. That's why you had to be prepared. Because if it came too early, you wouldn't have been ready to receive it. But now, you are different, stronger, more aware, more aligned, and ready to step into something that reflects everything you've become. So, don't doubt the shift. Don't question the timing. Don't second guess what you feel happening around you. Because this is real. This is your moment of elevation. This is your breakthrough unfolding, and when it finally happens, everything will make sense. This is your confirmation. You are protected, chosen, and next in line. Not by chance, not by luck, not because you just happened to make it this far, but because something greater has been guiding you, covering you, and preparing you every single step of the way. Everything you've heard up to this moment, it all connects. The protection you didn't understand, the battles you couldn't see, the delays that tested your patience, the separations that left you questioning, none of it was random. It was all part of a divine process, designed specifically for you. You were being protected, because your purpose is too valuable to be interrupted. You were being guided, because your path carries weight beyond what you can currently see. And now, you are being positioned because something transformational is about to enter your life. This is the full picture. Protection was never the final destination. It was preparation. Every closed door was guarding you from something misaligned. Every disappointment was redirecting you toward something greater. Every moment of confusion was clearing the space for clarity to arrive at the right time. You were never being punished. You were being preserved. And even now, in this very moment, you are not alone. You may have felt isolated. You may have felt like no one truly understood what you were going through. You may have felt like you were carrying everything by yourself. But the truth is, you were never by yourself. There has always been something watching over you, something intervening when things got too close, something strengthening you when you felt weak, something guiding you when you didn't know which way to go. Even in silence, you were supported. Even in stillness, things were moving for you behind the scenes. And now that movement is about to become visible. This is where everything begins to shift, from unseen to seen, from internal to external, from preparation to manifestation. You are stepping into a new phase where the protection around you will meet the purpose within you. And when those two align, transformation becomes unstoppable. This is not just a small change. This is not just a temporary breakthrough. This is a complete shift in your life's direction, a shift in how things come to you, a shift in how you experience peace, clarity, and abundance, a shift in how you walk, how you think, how you carry yourself. Because once you realize you are truly protected, you move differently. You stop fearing what's ahead. You stop doubting your worth. You stop questioning if you're enough. Because you aren't chosen, you wouldn't be covered like this. And if you weren't next in line, you wouldn't be feeling this shift so strongly. That feeling inside you right now, that sense that something is about to happen, that quiet, knowing that your life is about to change. That is not false hope. That is confirmation. You are closer than you think. Closer to the breakthrough. Closer to the clarity. Closer to the moment where everything begins to make sense. So don't pull back now. Don't let doubt creep in at the final stage. Stay grounded. Stay aware. Stay ready. Because what you've been waiting for, what you've been prepared for, is already on its way to you. And before you go any further, take this moment as a declaration. If this message spoke to your spirit, if you feel this confirmation deep within you, then type Amen in the comments. Declare it boldly. Let it be known that you receive this protection, this purpose, and this transformation. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because messages like this are not random, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Like this video, and share it with someone who needs this confirmation, because you're not the only one being called into something greater. There are others who need to hear this, others who are on the edge of their breakthrough, others who are being protected just like you. And sometimes your share is the message they've been waiting for. Now take a deep breath and feel the weight of this moment. You are not the same person you were before. You have been through too much, grown too much, and been protected too deeply to stay where you are. You are moving forward. You are rising. You are stepping into something that was always meant for you. So, stay focused, stay aligned, stay expectant, stay ready, because what is coming will change everything.